Don't get that project, guys.
All right. Welcome to this episode of Through the Realm of Light and Shadow. Very excited to come together today. Also a little bit sad, in case you're not knowing why we're sad. Well, let's talk about what happened in the last few sessions. You guys are an awesome group of crazy people that decided after being captured and then escaping capture in the midst of a lightning storm that you were going to just continue going exactly where they were trying to take you and fight whatever you found. So you guys ventured into the Mirkwood. You fought spiders. You fought more spiders. You fought a big spider, and then you fought more spiders. You encountered a cursed stream that you're able to kind of skirt along just due to some very fantastic rolls. You encountered an elven person by the name of Moglor who left you with some gifts, including Alagos, a horse for Edrahel. You then encountered the keep that you were originally being brought to, and inside that keep you encountered the biggest orc that you have ever seen in your entire life. Throughout the encounter, the orc creature seemed intent upon killing someone in your party and ended up succeeding, unfortunately. With the death of Cyrell, you guys rallied, finished off the creature, and began searching the keep. Inside the keep, Nebuchadnezzar specifically, you found a small study upstairs. Inside of the desk that was there, you broke it open and you found a wax seal with a forward-facing, open-palmed hand. You found a stick of white sealing wax. You also found an inkwell and a quill. You decided to hold on to all of those items, and they're currently in your inventory. You also found a letter, which was in Sindarin, and you were unable to read it. However, you summoned Eldakar, and he came upstairs, looking around the room. Eldakar, you found on a bookshelf an assortment of a few books. A couple of them were on necromancy. A couple of them were on beasts and other animals and wildlife in general. And there was specifically a book on the flora and fauna of the Mirkwood. You pocketed those. You decided not to grab the necromantic books after making a bit of a wisdom check to see whether or not they would help you in saving Cyrell after his passing. You realize that this brand of potentially resurrective magic would be a little bit darker than you're currently comfortable with. And so you turned to Nebuchadnezzar, he presented the letter to you, and you read it. And that is where we left off. Inside the letter, you don't know who it was addressed to, but inside it had some information, some data and statistics that they had gleaned doing some experiments with presumably the orcish creature that you fought, and it was signed Aladriel. That is where we left off. Will on horseback, charging towards the keep. What would you guys like to do?
Well,
So
Will's
the
riding
threat
Flicker.
is gone?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying the threat is gone. We're like running away now.
The threat finished before we finished our last session. You guys are just in the keep right now, yeah.
Will charges on Flicker. He has heard something of the bad news. He runs with her and jumps off and runs towards Cyrell's body. He kneels down, tears are in his eyes, and he looks to the group. What? happened?
Currently, Haley, Edrahel, and Dala are the only ones downstairs.
Can we all see the body?
He's at the body, yeah.
I'll just turn and point to the Urukai that's lying on the ground. Sorry.
Tell me, how did this happen? I want to hear all of it.
Young Will, Cyril is a very brave person, was a very brave person. All the way until the end, he was helping. And unfortunately, this is what happens with battles and wars. I've lived more than I could want to, but many, many times it ends like this. And he's going to be in the stays, in the eternal stays with the Luvatar. He's not here with us anymore.
Will weeps. He touches Cyril's head. He looks solemn for a second. When we first saw him, my people, we didn't give him a chance. He looked different than the rest of us at Rohan. We didn't know who he was. He came from the east, and we were scared. But there's a time that he actually saved my family. My dad, he was older, and he had passed away a long time ago. And just me, my mom, my sisters. Some bandits attacked us, and he jumped in, and he saved us all. He ended up marrying my sister, and I don't know, he raised me. It's kind of like a father. He goes silent for a second. A new determination comes across his face. He pats down Cyril's body for a second and pulls out a journal and a writing utensil. Please tell me everything you found in this place. I must report back to Eomir. He's our friend, a kinfolk of me. He sent us into this area to find what was going on. I must complete our mission. Please tell me, what did you find?
And the ones that are down, like, with him are only Haley, Edrahel, and
Yeah.
who else?
Yeah, I'd say probably with your passive perceptions, Eldakar and Nebuchadnezzar can hear the conversation happening. And it would be happening after what happened last session. So you guys can make your way downstairs. That's fine.
Yeah, so we hear obviously we hear people speaking outside. We probably don't hear we probably don't hear the words, but we probably get the gist of it. So Nebuchadnezzar kind of makes his way down. He has like his warhammer on his shoulder there. He sees Will, and he decides to present the letter and the seal and say, ain't much up there but these things. Obviously, we've not done a full search yet.
I cannot read this. What does it say?
I will read it again for you guys. So Eldakar, looking over the letter to you, Will says, Dear S, the specimen that you provided is beyond expectation. Below, I have listed out some of the information I have gained from a few experiments. I do believe that the persons you identified and that we should be acquiring soon will provide the most efficient test of this creature's ability. I do believe you are onto something, and I cannot wait to see what comes of it. Yours forever, Eladriel.
Will quickly writes down the message, and you see him do kind of a quick sketch like Cyril used to do of the place they're in. I believe Cyril's body's still in the room.
Yeah.
So he looks up to you guys. Please help me carry him outside.
Of course.
I'll do a strength check. Whoever wants to help me out with that.
Yep.
Easy enough. You guys I mean, with your combined strengths, you guys can carry him out. That's fine.
And
So when he's out, you guys see Onyx come up, trots up to Cyril's body and sort of nudges him as if he knows something's going on. Will looks at Onyx and pets him quietly. It's gonna be okay, boy. We'll make it through. He then stores the journal into his pocket, and then he looks at you guys. And then he turns to Vidar and Kona, the other two dwarfs. Says, "Please, my friends, if possible, if we can come up with some way, I need to get him home. Is there any way that you can think of that we can maybe wrap his body in onyx? I know he would bear him out of the Mirkwood. I need to return him to his people of Rohan and make a report, but I'm afraid I can't go on my own. Will one of you go with me?"
Vidar and Kona, they kind of look at each other. And you see Vidar's got a very just stoic look on his face. You can tell that Vidar is battle hardened and has seen many people fall in his time. Kona, on the other hand, face is a little flushed. Eyes aren't crying, but you can see that there's an emotion there. And she just goes, I think we can help you with that.
He nods. Thank you.
And
Quickly, we're up.
Vidar trudges into the keep and let's see. Yeah, okay. Still rolling well. On an investigation check. It takes about a minute or two, but they find a piece of linen large enough that they can create, at least for now, a bit of a crude covering until maybe you guys get somewhere you can get a more robust covering, but something you can at least wrap him in.
That's good. Before they wrap him up, Will searches Cyril's body carefully, respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
You see him pulling some things off. And then he wraps his body carefully and asks for Vidar and Kona's help to move him closer to Onyx. But before he goes, he looks at the team, tears a little bit in his eyes, but he goes up to each one of you, one at a time. To Haley, he kind of goes up a little sheepishly. Cyril, loved your cooking, and he loved that you're from the Shire. He wanted to visit there sometime, and I did too. He kind of blushes a little bit and kicks the grass, but then he reaches inside of a pocket and gives you a package. It's extra rations. He's like, I hope that helps. Then he moves on quickly. He goes over to Dala and said, Cyril was most impressed with you. He thought you were an amazing fighter. He wanted to learn more about you, and I know he would be sad that he couldn't. I don't know. I think these would be useful to the party. You can decide who gets it, but I know he would want you to have it first at least. And then he hands you Cyril's sword and the gems so you can hold. He then goes over to Edrahel and says, Cyril, he was mad at you that once, but he quickly forgave you. He's not really good at expressing that. I know he enjoyed his time with you, and he was sad about your son. I know he wanted to maybe help find him. I hope you find him one day. He walks over to Onyx and unstraps the lance that Cyril had found and gives it to you. Maybe this would be a good help for Alagos. He's a good horse. Take care of him. Then he walks over to Eldakar and says, Cyril was very curious about the Dunedain. He didn't know much about them, but he heard about their exploits. I think he would have liked to know you better, friend. He takes out, gives you Cyril's traveling cloak. So that was made by his wife, my sister, Maya. She's really good at making things, and hopefully it'll keep you warm in the winter. He smiles and then goes over to Nebuchadnezzar, takes a deep breath and looks at you. Cyrell thought you were obnoxious. He was frustrated with you, thought you were kind of a jerk. But he also thought you showed the most promise. He actually respected you a lot. And he thought that you could be a really great leader one day. I don't know what will happen next, but I know he would want you to know that not to give your life away for silly things. Running into battle is easy. Defending others is harder. With that, he pulls out something that he's palming in his hands, and he said, Cyrell was just starting to do some woodwork. So whittling, we always made fun of him for it. He never was really good at it, but I thought this piece was really good. He gives it to you. It's a carving of a horse. It almost looks like onyx. And he said, I think he wants you to keep this. With that, he also places his hand on your shoulder and he leans in. And by the way, I saw the way that you fought the elf the other night. I thought it was really good. I learned some extra moves from it. He gives you a wink and a smile. And with that, he goes and asks Vidar and Kona to help lift Cyrell onto Onyx and strap him there.
And they do.
He gets some flicker and he looks at you guys and he's like, it's been a pleasure and an honor. I'm glad to have been one of the champions of light for a bit. If you ever find yourself in Rohan, please ask for me. You always have a safe place where I live and food aplenty. But I must go back and look after my sister and Cyrell's kids. They'll need me now. With that, he straps on Cyrell's old shield, and there's some other stuff that he pockets. Then he looks at you and he kind of stands up straight on Flicker, and he looks the oldest that you've ever seen. Yes, please, if you're ever in Rohan, ask for my help. Just call on Wilhelm, son of Cyrell. And with that, he just takes off.
Is watch as Wilhelm, Vidar, and Kona all leave with the body of Cyrell, heading back towards the remnants of the old forest road, heading west so they can exit the Mirkwood and leave Rohan for Rohan.
Do well. Looking onward to our next steps here. We got to figure out if we're going to stay in this bloody woods or if we're going to find a way out. How I see it, this note here says that we were just a test of sorts. No big plan for us, no grand destiny, just like meat in this pig house to be thrown which way and used for whoever wants to use it. So we need to figure out if we're going to go after the whatever spellcaster necromancer did all this, or alternatively, we go after the strange elf who likes to laugh a lot. There's a lot more things to kill in these here woods. I'm more than glad to do it. But without a clear plan, we'll get stuck out here for weeks, months, maybe years, and that won't do any of us much good.
I say we do whoever this man wrote the letter, we go after him for Sorrel.
By ourselves?
Oh, yeah. Looks like fate
We couldn't
shined
even take
upon.
one of them. What makes you think that we can go after this threat by ourselves? We need help. We need to seek out Maglor and his people.
I am with Haley. I think that we should go to Em and Arner to learn more about the Silver Hand, but why Maglor wanted to point us to them.
All right.
Gotta be strong. Gotta be strong for him. So I agree.
All right. I don't have a real reason to say no. But if we go there together, we're all in this for the long haul. Are you in?
Are you
Together?
in?
Fine. Whatever you guys think is best for Sorrel, I'm in. I
Let's
will
make him
avenge his
proud.
death. I get more help, and then we go after this guy.
It's a bit more adventure than a hobbit is used to. But I'm willing.
Just a little bit. You're a little bit ways from the Shire, aren't you?
I mean, I've been far away from the Shire before. I'm not like most hobbits, but I'm still a hobbit.
Well, I would like to hear more of those stories along the road.
Cyrell, I was gonna share some stories with him too. I'm thankful I got to share a few of them with him, but still. I will probably write about our adventures someday and be sure
Write
to
it in
feature.
the next song of yours.
I also write story, but yeah, something like that. There's just a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. It's probably best to put them down.
I
But all that to say, I'm apprehensive. I don't want to go charging into the fray again. But I'm
should
willing.
probably find a place to rest.
That sounds nice. To
Hey,
make
We
us a
had a
big
rough
dinner.
battle.
that sounds like a good idea. I know a place a little bit north of here. We could have some sparring sessions.
Yeah, Adriel, why don't you lead us away from this place? It's creeping me out.
Okay. So are we sure that we're gonna go to Mordor? Or at least close to it, because that's where the elves said that we were going. Is that a group consensus?
Emin Arnen is between Minas Tirith and Mordor.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not going to Mordor
But you're going to get a lot
Right
of
next to it.
currently, yeah.
in that direction, but we're not actually walking into Mordor.
Yeah.
One does not
Yes.
simply do that.
Yet. One does not seem
That
to
actually
be.
hasn't been said yet, so somewhere Boromir's like,
That's a pretty good
Epiphany.
line. So my guy suggests actually that they actually stay here for the night just because they're already familiar with the surroundings of a wall and everything like that. Might be a little better as opposed to try to go back in the woods again. We're already at weakened capacity.
There's so much shadow here. I think Adriel could at least find some like safe, special place. He's done it before. We don't have to leave the Mirkwood or go super far.
Well,
everyone make
Was traveling these woods
Everyone-
for a good 30 days.
a wisdom check for me.
well, I have the
Roll
fear of the
20,
Lord.
add your wisdom modifier.
All right. Do we have advantage in this?
Is there a reason you would have advantage?
What are we being wise about? Are we just to sleep here tonight?
What'd you get?
He's
Is not- Sorry.
yeah, 9.
Is the trip over like the what's the name of it? Like the thing that we started.
Journey?
Yes,
The
the
journey.
journey phase is coming to an end shortly, yeah.
All right. Okay.
I got a Ted.
10,
Got it.
Eldikar.
I got a 15.
Okay,
I got a nat one.
gotcha.
Ooh. Is that
Very
what you have
wise.
for
Solid.
advantage?
12.
12, okay. Eldikar and Dala, since the creature was slain, you've noticed a slow recession of the oppressive feeling of shadow that you felt when you entered the area of the keep. And it's continuing to recede with each passing moment. You're still in the heart of the Mirkwood. It's still extremely dark, but the darkness feels more and more natural and less oppressive.
A few minutes later.
So, are we gonna stay here at least for one night?
A little longer than a few minutes later.
My guy still wants to stay for at least an hour or two to see if there's any sort of basements, any sort of hidden shelves, whatever. We've not really done a good survey of this place yet, if there's any more secrets. So,
Find more loot.
yep. So,
If you guys think we're safer here, that's fine. I'm just a little wigged out after everything that's happened.
I'm with the dwarf. Let's look around. Must be more information about it. It's been a while since the guy was here, and it seems that what's the name of this new guy? Iliador?
Eladriel?
Eladriel, yeah. It seems that something like that. Eladriel, it seems that he was sending this letter to somebody that was living here for a while, so there must be more information since we were
Do
in the
we
wrong
know
road
if
for a
that's a
while.
male or a female name, or if that's traditionally a certain race?
It's
Oh.
yeah. I mean, you're an elf, Edgerhell. It's traditionally a female name. Yeah.
And it's an elven name?
Yes.
Did someone stay watch in case something does happen to come up?
No
Wow,
one. No
someone's
one
looting.
take watch. It'll be great. Everyone go to sleep
I'll
at the
sit
same
with
time.
Dala. I'll sit with Dala and start making supper, and also sit watch with her.
I think that's a good idea, and at the same time, since Della just received Sariel's sword, I think it also would be a good idea for you to start getting accustomed to it, to understand the gems and see what kind of abilities it gives you.
All right.
All right. So Haley and Dala are taking first watch. I know there's going to be some more investigations and stuff, but since we started the conversation, when we get to it, who else is going to take watch? Who's going to be second watch? Okay.
Anyone wants to come?
And then Edgerhell and Nebuchadnezzar, one or both of you for third watch.
Okay.
I'll do third watch because I want Ed for hell to be rested, so when we travel in the morning, he's good to go.
Okay.
All right.
Well, do we still get a long rest even though we're doing a watch?
Yeah, you guys aren't in a rush. You're not, trying to get out of here in 6 hours or anything. So, having less people and only doing 3 watches, you're not going to be able to get a long rest in like 8 hours. It'll probably be closer to 10 hours because you'll have to sleep a little bit extra. But yeah, you guys are going to be able to get a long rest, especially with the conclusion of the journey phase. But before we actually do the arrival roll and everything, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to finish anything else up that you wanted to do. I know Nebuchadnezzar wanted to look around the keep a little bit more. If there's anything else you want to do before the arrival phase happens, let me know, because that's going to happen before you guys bed down for the night.
All right.
So my hope is me and Eldikar and Edgerhell will go together as we search. This way, we all can get a thorough search. I mean, since we're in no rush, we have the whole night. I'm actually at pretty good health. Like I really did not take any major damage or whatever into that fight. So like, I'm down to just walk around and really search every nook and cranny, no matter how many hours it takes.